What's up my guys, MODDB here. After playing Entropy 02, I was inspired to check out some other Half-Life mods that have been gaining recent popularity as well. One being Through the City, a fan-made modification that acts as a long-awaited sequel to Half-Life Opposing Force, where you play as Corporal Shepard, or Adrian Shepard, a US Marine Corporal assigned to the Hazardous Environment Combat Unit from the Santiago military base. Your original objective was to cover up the Black Mesa incident during the events of Half-Life 1, or Opposing Force. However, shit kind of hits the fan, so. But just like Freeman, your abilities catch the attention of the G-Man, where you're promptly given psychic anesthesia as the G-Man loves to do, and were left waiting for your next assignment 23 years later, which is ironic because it's around the same amount of time of the in-game time between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. Now I need to mention this mod isn't canon, but the original Opposing Force was never canon as well. Although just like a lot of things, this doesn't mean it wasn't canon in the hearts of many Half-Life fans. And this single episode demo proves that the love for the Opposing Force game and the desire for a sequel is still, after all these years, well and truly alive. Something quite interesting to mention is I found a comment left on a playthrough of the alpha build of Chapter 1 where the original developer, Kajlos, mentioned, and I quote, "The game was meant to hide the fact that you are playing as a Marine until the end. I decided long time ago to cut that idea, and you should expect in the next release that you will play as Shepard normally." This is quite funny to point out since the original demo of the game that initially released over a year ago opens up with this screen. Although the opening monologue of the G-Man in both the old and new release have a lot of similarities, it's important to point out that in this first release the G-Man actually calls the main character Mr. Freeman.
And that's why I'm here, Mr. Freeman.
But in the end, I'm glad that he simply made it out to be Shepard because it makes the more recent demo a lot more gripping and understandable. The game opens up being greeted by the G-Man himself, being thrusted into action. I simply love how this is akin to Gordon Freeman's rude awakening in Half-Life 2. They both had to come to terms with the current state of the world under the Combine's rule. And honestly, for a single episode demo, what followed really took me back. The small details are always great to mention first. The green HUD, the wrench, and greatly improved night vision from the original installment was something so simple that really improved the overall vibe that this mod was going for. I hope that they add a wind-up mechanic for the wrench to add a power shot that was in the original game. It would be a nice addition, but at the end of the day, it's not needed. The new model for the wrench is sexy as fuck, my guy. That's fine. Also, I do appreciate that they left Adrian Shepard voiceless. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love that the Breadman made 3650 a voiced protagonist, and it worked well there, but it seems very appropriate that they would leave Shepard's character alone as he's known to be a silent protagonist, and messing around with that foundation would be a risky move. It would be strange if you threw in a random voice to accompany him, same with Gordon Freeman, but the voice of your powered combat vest system was fucking amazing. It was a great addition to this mod.
Welcome to the powered combat vest system for use in combat situations.
I love how it reminded me of Gordon's suit, but it still had a militaristic feel to it. And from here on out, the whole adventure you go on in this decently sized mission is just a blast from the beginning to the end. I fucking love the small things they did to make it gripping and realistic. Like how the younger citizens you encounter at the beginning of this mission are terrified of you, yet the older bloke recognizes you're a Marine Corporal. This is just perfectly placed since the younger men may not remember any Marine or any soldiers from Earth at all. They just see a uniform and gas mask and shit their fucking pants. Whereas the older dude wants to help you out and get you to safety and find some supplies. The way the following sequences are designed is fucking amazing. The Combine gets a whiff of the information. A fucking Marine Corporal is out and about, and you're left to fight and survive through the city. Something that I really love about this game is that exact feeling alone. Just imagine a Marine Corporal who was once a part of the strongest military in the world, the United States, being put into hibernation by some teleporting psychic psycho only to wake up 20 years later to this. You find out that not only the Combine are stronger than the leading powerhouse of the world, but there's a chance that you're the last surviving member of that powerhouse that hasn't been killed or hasn't joined the Combine. And everyone's shitting bricks by your presence. The rude awakening that Gordon Freeman had was definitely similar to Adrian Shepard's. However, Gordon had friends who helped him along the way the moment he woke up. Adrian has absolutely no one. The citizens fear him and the Combine are after him. But with that small tangent out of the way, you eventually make it to an apartment complex where you get pulled into a room by a civilian. He asks, "What the fucking fuck do you think you're doing?" Because having a Marine Corporal walk around willy-nilly will do nothing but endanger everyone he is around. But the stranger admits it's nice to meet someone new, and he entrusts you with a Desert Eagle to fuck up some Combine soldiers. Now, the Combine are fucking pissed. They storm the apartment complex, leaving you to make a run for it, and ending up in a dead end facing off waves of more Combine. You make your escape and find yourself in a building where Kleiner is heard over the radio. So let's take it back. When I heard the G-Man's voice, I was like, damn, that's good. So I did some research, as I do before writing a review, and was shocked to see they got Japanese Bush Baby to do the voice acting.
Ah, don't hate me because I'm gorgeous, Freeman.
Although he's used in more like meme videos, his impression is spot on. Good job, man. But when I heard Kleiner's voice, I was like, damn, that's good. That's way too good, in fact. And when the credits rolled, Harry S. Robbins. Man, goddamn, it's actually him. They actually got him. He states that he has some important information that he needs to notify Station 7 about. The Vortigons told Kleiner that the Combine captured Dr. Eli Vance and is being held in the Citadel, and that Gordon and Alex are missing. Now I'm kinda dumb, but this did confuse me a little bit on when exactly this mod takes place. I've heard that some people assume this is 10 days before the events of Half-Life 2, but if this is following the events of the Half-Life Alyx timeline, it would mean that this could be 2 years before the events of Half-Life 2. If anyone in the comments could inform me on these details, if you're aware of this, that would be greatly appreciated. After this, you encounter a Strider and narrowly escape to the end of this chapter. This demo was fucking cool, man. Big props to Kajlo for creating this, and I simply can't leave out how much I loved the soundtrack to this. One thing I love about all of these Half-Life fan mods is that the soundtrack not only feels like Half-Life, but it sounds fucking cool in general. This soundtrack, man, holy shit! And also I feel like I need to give well-deserved credit to Ronald Hamrack, the casting director that was able to get Harry S. Robbins to reprise his role of Dr. Isaac Kleiner, and also Lani Minella, who voiced Collette Green in Half-Life Decay. There's already some footage of Collette Green's recording tapes posted on Kajlos' YouTube channel. I'll be sure to leave that video in the description as well because it's incredibly created, and I'm not going to put the full video here as well because I feel that the video on Kajlos' channel needs more love. So if you could head over there to watch it and give it a like, that would be great. But in this small cutscene, Collette Green pretty much explains that the Combine are almost finished building the Citadel, and there's an additional species they're able to communicate with from Zen that isn't the Vortigons. But she exclaims that she doesn't know where it is or if it's even still alive. Then the recording is cut short and I'm not gonna lie, this sent chills down my spine. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm very excited. I don't want it to sound like I'm already head over heels for this mod. Of course, I'm extremely happy to see such an abundant amount of passion projects popping up here and there to give some beautifully crafted, much needed fan service, but this particular mod is nowhere near finished, and while it has a fuckload of potential, we need to see how the rest of the story would play out. After all, the developer has said that the full mod may release as late as 2024, and that's fine by me. Take as as long as you want, because we understand this isn't being created by a massive AAA team. And I want this to be as good as it possibly can be before being released. The modder has posted a more in-depth future of this game and actually goes into detail about the missions that will follow this first chapter. There will be 6 chapters in total, and they will be explored as followed. Chapter 2 will be called New Enemy. New Enemy will give a better vision of the uprising, rebels fighting the Combine, Striders destroying buildings, and more of that. One of the main characters from the previous storyline, Ryan, will explain his plan on escaping the city. Both him and the player need to get to the Citadel's control room, a scene that was in the director's cut. If you have played the first release, this may sound familiar because this was actually episode 2, and the civilian you team up with in the first release is Ryan, I think, because the screenshots posted on MODDB showcase the same exact area you arrive in the demo. Although this is a chapter that has been previously explored, it will be nice to see how they refurbish this section of the game and tie it together with the most recent chapter. Chapter 3 will be called Unknown Infection. Unknown Infection is where the game will start to showcase more of new content. You'll end up in an infested dead zone of City 17, an area that will give you Ravenholm vibes. You will have to turn on the power of a train that will let Ryan and Shepard leave City 17, and just around the corner, the main antagonist of this mod will be introduced. This sounds like an exciting chapter because we will get brand new content from here on out. Anything that gives off Ravenholm vibes is something I'll look forward to as well. And the main antagonist of this mod will be a character called Olivia, who is a Combine commander and a manager of the Overwatch Reinforcement Fortress. She's appeared in both the Awoken and Overwatch Reinforcement previous releases, and is seen flying a Hunter Chopper 2.0, a helicopter specifically designed for Olivia's use. Fun fact, Olivia was originally going to have Judith Mossman's face, which would have been quite weird, but this wasn't made possible due to Kajlos' computer crashing every time he's tried to upload the model into Half-Life 2. Very sad. But maybe it's for the best, as the new concept art for Olivia looks fucking cool. I'm excited to see what they do in terms of the story and how she will play a role in the future of this mod series. Chapter 4 will be called Alien Reptile. Alien Reptile is a chapter where you will meet Rocky, a Race X survivor who has a negative opinion about Shepard, but will have to team up with him. The player will end up fighting with a more upgraded version of the Strider. Rocky is of the Race X species, who after the experiments has become a reptilian rhinoceros hybrid. He has blue crystals that form a line from the top of his head all the way down to his tail, and he can shoot lightning from his tail crystals. After the Combine's invasion of Earth, Rocky decided to join the human resistance to help fight the Combine. Race X is one of the more mysterious races of the Half-Life universe, as there's only one game being opposing force that has these creatures present, and there's only 6 species in this game: the Shock Troopers, Pit Drones, Vortigors, Pit Worms, Sprites, and the Gene Worm. This creature looks nothing like the other creatures seen in that game, so I'm impressed that they have the courage to explore this race more and expand upon it. This accompanying you sounds fucking cool, and if they pull it off, Wilson has some fucking competition. Although, like, barely. But more interestingly, the upgraded version of the Strider is mentioned in this blurb as well. There's actually some concept art of how this boss will look like that is found on MODDB. Standing next to a regular Strider, they appear to be a navy blue color with a neon green light on the sides of its head, and standing next to an ordinary Strider who is standing next to a human, it's clear to see how fucking huge this boss will be. This Strider, from what I've found on the internet, is most likely going to be called the Destroyer, a huge Strider coming from Olivia's fortress. The player will be hearing heavy footsteps and noises around you and alerting you that it is currently on the search for you. Honestly, if this is done right and they don't scrap this idea, it could be one of the most ball-tingly experiences in a Half-Life mod, something I'm really looking forward to. Chapter 5 will be called Overwatch Reinforcement. This part of the game will be set far from City 17, and the player will have to sneak inside a Combine fortress that is being managed by the main antagonist of the mod. A lot of plot mystery is going to be revealed at that part. I simply like how this blurb finishes because it highlights the fact that there is mystery in this plot that has obviously had a lot of time spent on seeing how long this game has and will be in development for. It's going to be interesting to see how they'll introduce Olivia from here, as she's most likely going to be the manager of this fortress and you're most likely going to come face to face with her. The idea of stealth missions is nothing short of exciting. I absolutely love stealth missions when done right, and if Ryan and Shepard can stealth kill and steal a Combine's uniform and talk to Olivia undercover, that would be so fucking cool. Chapter 6 will be called Endgame. Not much to say about it. You will be fighting the final boss and get the final cutscene. New rewritten story will be still improved further. And with the blurb of Chapter 6 coming to a close, that is all we have for the information about the future chapters of this mod. However, there's still more information and concept art of other things that could make their appearance. A 3D model of a shock trooper that'll make a later appearance in this game looks metal as fuck, my brochacho, and it's something that was also in the trailer. There will also be a Zen parasite infection inspired by the blue antlions from Half-Life Alyx. The infection in this game has now spread to zombies, headcrabs, and even the fucking striders, my guy. Here is some concept art of the infected zombie, and there's also some models of the Overwatch reinforcement cannon that looks really well done. Like, fucking good on you guys. Be sure to check out their posts on MODDB, as there will definitely be more updates on Through the City in the future. Before this video comes to a close, here are some thoughts I have about the future of Adrian Shepard that I wouldn't mind to be explored. I would absolutely love for this mod to show Shepard training citizens how to fight and lead a big group of these citizens to rebel against the Combine, or in other words, for Shepard to actually start a revolution instead of trying to survive like he was in the first mission. It would be cool if he encounters other Marines that survived Black Mesa, which help him with this feat, and eventually collaborate with the scientists in Black Mesa East. I think that's already a great concept in itself, but like, you know, okay, imagine, right? Through the city, cross entropy zero. One can dream. One can definitely dream. I've dreamed. Now, all jokes aside, I wouldn't argue if you want this to be completely separate from the Entropy Zero franchise and develop its own identity, and I don't see this mod as competition to Entropy Zero 2. I see it as a fantastic addition to the Half-Life universe, and I want to give credit where credit's due. Like I mentioned with the Entropy Zero 2 mod, I'd be happy to pay for the final product if it turns out to live up to the hype this game is receiving. Make sure to give these guys a follow on YouTube or keep an eye on MODDB for future news, and feel free to give this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe for more updates. Thanks heaps for watching. If there's anything I missed or anything you guys want to discuss, please leave a comment below on this video. Thanks again, and as always, stay safe, stay sexy, stay humble, mwah, mwah, mwah. Suck your nipple.